Why is Coors Light the official beer of the 90s? Let's count the reasons. 1, the Silver Bullet is the beer that won't slow you down. 2, it's brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water. 3, it's got a neat silver can. 4 and 5, Coors Light is available in all 49 states and Canada. And 6, it tastes good. Let's keep all 6 reasons in mind the next time you want a beer. Thank you.
Tim Ryan with Irv Cross back at Mile High Stadium. Denver on top and threatening again. 3rd and 5. Sammy Winder is in there. The ball at the 6-yard line. And with a nice tribute for Sammy in his final game as a Denver Bronco. And they fake to him. Elway under pressure is dropped. Kubiak, pardon me. Kubiak in for Elway. And dropped for a loss of about a half a yard. Looked like Sean Patterson got him after the first pressure from Tim Harris.
The Broncos will run their quarterbacks a lot around the 10-yard line. They like, of course, Elway's an exceptional runner. They like to run that quarterback draw. That time they faked a reverse, and they wanted to have Kubiak go upfield with it, and just couldn't find anybody.
Treadwell will attempt the field goal. They'll spot it at the 14-yard line. It'll be a 24-yard field goal try. Treadwell has 2 already today. And Kubiak is dropped back at the 18-yard line after they either planned that pass attempt or Kubiak had to go for it. Let's see what happens on the snap.
This is a fake, Tim, because the snap is good. He just gets up. This is a fake all the way. This is a fake field goal, and the Packers didn't go for it. Mark Murphy comes up with a key play.
We'll return to Mile High Stadium after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
Happy holidays from the news staff of WKBT.
Nights like these are always...
Excuse me, didn't you used to play a cowboy?
Yes, I played a
Thank
cowboy.
You.
Hollywood typecasting.
Alas, poor Yorick.
It happens in business, too. Wausau Insurance has been typecast as specialists in workers' compensation.
Isn't he a cowboy?
But Wausau's talents are just as impressive in property, casualty, and employee benefit plans.
Perfect.
Yeah! In all types of business insurance, Wausau performs.
You take me back to that feeling. Safe driving begins with good brakes, so be sure to have your braking system checked regularly and insist on quality CarQuest brake parts. Remember, brakes are the single most important safety feature on your car. CarQuest brakes, because safety counts. And CarQuest keeps us rolling down the road.
Tim Ryan and Irv Cross back here just underway in the 4th quarter in Denver. Shadows across the field and things a little cooler than the 30 degrees we started with. And off that fake field goal, the Packers take over at their own 18-yard line. Dilweg play action. He's got a man wide open, Sterling Sharp, and he takes it up to the 42-yard line. Let's go back. Were you a little surprised at this play in this situation, Irv?
Yeah, I was, Tim, but yeah, the only reason why I think he might have done it is that they wanted to get the ball into Sammy Winder's hand. This is a fake all the way, but number 23, Sammy Winder, is a wingback on the left side of the formation over here. But he blocks and never really gets out of there. So as a result, he never gets into there. He is right there. He never gets into the play, and the Denver Broncos are caught for loss. I'm sure that Breeze wanted to find some way to get Winder in the end zone, and that's why they probably went with the fake.
First down at the 41. Play action. Out to the tight end, Jackie Harris, number 80, for a gain of close to 8 yards. For an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, the Dallas Cowboys failed to claim the last NFC wildcard spot this afternoon, losing to the Atlanta Falcons 26-7. After the game, it was a very obviously disappointed Jimmy Johnson.
Now the Saints get ready to play Chicago.
Pardon?
I said the Saints can get ready to play Chicago.
That's exactly what will happen if the Saints beat the Rams tomorrow night. Let's go back to Tim and Irv.
Well, thank you, Greg. That playoff picture, as we said, going right to the wire. We'll go all the way to Monday night. This is Thompson with a lot of running room. And he decks Atwater, who forced him out of bounds, but the rookie from Minnesota showed some power there.
Decking Atwater is not easy to do. Atwater comes with a load. He's 6'3" and 217 and has a reputation of really destroying running backs. He did a great job against Christian Okoye from Kansas City. He was a tremendous power back. But here, Darrell Thompson going off his right tackle. Good job up front. Mandrich and Hallstrom getting key blocks up there. Now he just demonstrates his ability to open up here with his speed. Now when the collision develops, watch this. He's going to put his shoulder down and meet Atwater shoulder to shoulder. And I'll tell you, Thompson won that one.
27-yard gain, Green Bay now at the Denver 23-yard line. Play action, wide open, Ed West. West breaks a tackle, and he struggles his way down near the 7-yard line. Ed West, who committed a costly fumble that led to a Denver score earlier, comes up big here.
I'm sure he'd like to go ahead and find a way to try to make up for that fumble. West is on the far side of your screen at tight end. What he'll do is come down inside, realize there's no one there to fake to. He's going to really fake a block. They come back outside into the flat. Dilweg picks him up out there, and he makes good yardage before Dennis Smith finally forces him out with some help from his teammates, Carl Mecklenburg.
So the Packers knocking on the door at the 7-yard line. Early here in the fourth quarter, 11:37 to play in regulation time. They trail 20-6. Play action again, and the pass overthrown, intended for Woodside. Had he given the ball to Haddix, I think Haddix would have been in the end zone.
That's right. Looks like the Bronco defense is playing pass all the way here. They had sort of like a wide charge where the defensive lineman sort of opened up and came outside. What they want to do is try to keep Dilweg in the pocket, and had that ball been handed off to the running back, number 35, he would still be running, I think, because that middle was wide open. But that's part of the guessing game.
Holmes back in defensively. Galloway had been in for a few plays for the Denver Broncos. 2nd and goal from the 7. Woodside trying to get outside and can't do it. Dennis Smith came up very well, and a loose ball that is a Denver ball. Woodside coughed it up. It appeared the play was over, but Reagan and Brooks put the hit on him. Let's see.
You may want to take a look at this again, Tim, because it looked like he was on the ground before that ball came out of there. But again, this time it was some kind of misdirection. The Packers go one way, come back on the running back. Woodside is hit. Now, is his knee on the ground when that ball comes out? I think so. His knee was definitely on the ground when the ball came out. That is not a fumble.
In my opinion, he was down. But the opinion of the replay official, Dave Kamansky, is clearly more important. And I'm sure they'll take a look. We'll be back at Mile High Stadium in a moment.
Okay, what's new with the new generation of Oldsmobile? Still wondering?
This is the new generation of Olds.
Getting around anywhere these days isn't easy. Getting a long-distance call through on AT&T is, even from non-AT&T public phones. Just dial 10-ATT-0 and the phone number.
AT&T.
10-ATT-0. Just to make getting through your day a little easier. AT&T. How can we help you?
Back in 1966, Oldsmobile brought on a revolution with front-wheel drive. Today, the evolution of Smart Track, the combination of all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes, will again take the world by storm.
This is the new generation of Olds.
The number that jumps out of that graphic material is the 4 turnovers by Green Bay. The replay man, Dave Kamansky, is looking at the last one, which was by Keith Woodside. And whether or not that is going to stand, we are awaiting it.
That was really looking at that turnover number, though, for the Green Bay Packers. Coach Infante told us that, interceptions you can understand once in a while, but fumbles we have to control. We must hold the football. They've had 3 fumbles they've lost today. If this one goes through as a fumbled play. Now, we'll take a look at it again and see what we can see here. Look to me that when Woodside number 33 was hit, now, see if his knee is on the ground before that ball comes out of there. Right now, he has possession of it. Now, we don't know if it's out right now here or not, but his knees are down. Now, it looks like his ball is still cradled under his arm. All right, the knee is down. Now they take the ball away is what happens. So the ball's taken away as he goes down. But the inconclusive, and the Broncos retain possession.
So 4 Green Bay turnovers have really put them in deep trouble. And here is a wide open hole for Sammy Winder, who brings it up to the 28-yard line of Denver.
Ted, you won't find many players as popular anywhere with their home teams as Sammy Winder. Boy, he's just a guy who's just worked and plugged away all of his career here with the Broncos. 9 years here, not real fast, not real strong, but tough as nails. He's going to go back to Jackson, Mississippi after today's game and go home where he lives and go in this heavy construction business. I asked him how he got in that business. He said, well, I bought some property down there, and a guy came up with a bulldozer to clear it out for me. Charged me $3,500 after working for only 1 day. He said, you can make that kind of money. That's the business I want to be in. So he's in that business. What a guy.
All kinds of action along the line here. Flags fly in all directions. 4 of them in all. Winder's got 36 yards rushing today. He's had only 40 all season coming into the game.
Encroachment prior to the snap. Number 88 offense. Still first down.
So the call against Clarence Kay of Denver. Quite a career for the man you were just talking about, Irv.
Rushing over 5,000 yards. And those were really tough rushing yards. Running inside for the Broncos and scoring 39 touchdowns. And does a pretty good job receiving the football. But the thing with him, though, I think, Tim, he's a quiet guy. He's the kind of a player who leads by example. He's not a rah-rah gung-ho fella, but if you need 3rd and 1, he's the man to give the ball to.
Winder again. Not much on that one, as the Packers responded well. Holland, Harris out there on the left side. Green Bay with that fumble lost, just continuing to add to their giveaways this year. They came into the game with 17 interceptions, 14 lost fumbles. They've lost 2 more fumbles, 3 fumbles today, and an interception by Wyman Henderson. So 4 more turnovers today. John Elway encouraging Gary Kubiak. In fact, looks like he's trying to change the play for him.
Don't run that one.
Look at this thing.
That's right.
Kubiak says, maybe you're right.
It's coming out, yeah.
So we'll be back at Mile High Stadium in a moment.
If you buy this new Oldsmobile and have a burning desire to haul 5,000 pounds through the desert in the middle of summer, go ahead. That's how we tested it.
This is the new generation of Olds.
Dean Witter believed in priorities.
Know why your clients are saving. Know why they're investing.
Okay, come on, folks.
At some point, it's college. Later on, retirement. But Dean Witter knows that often the highest priorities are all the things that happen in between.
Is there anything else you want?
Just the first dance.
There are many ways to measure success.
We measure success one investor at a time.
This Oldsmobile got 16 highway miles a gallon and went 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. This one gets 30 miles a gallon and gets to 60 in 7 seconds. Isn't technology wonderful?
This is the new generation of Olds.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Isn't your car worth the extra protection? AT&T, the right choice. And by Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Here in Denver, Colorado, the Broncos lead 20-6, 9:55 to play. John Elway on the sidelines watching Gary Kubiak. And he's finished for the season. A disappointing year for both Elway and the Broncos, but he's already looking ahead to some golf activity. He's a 7 handicap, and he'll play in the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am right here on CBS Sports. His partner will be Colorado pro Mark Wiebe.
So you talk about his handicap, though, Tim. He was sheepishly telling us, you know, my handicap used to be a 4. He's now a 7. Well,
probably all the distraction of a difficult football season.
I think so, yeah.
Affecting his golf game.
He had a couple of points to his handicap.
Second down, and Kubiak finds his man Sewell. Sewell all the way to the 45-yard line of Green Bay. Tiger Green forces him out there.
Tiger Green was responsible one-on-one for Sewell all over the field. You can see number 30 here and number 23 locked up with one another. But Kubiak picks up Sewell coming across in the crossing pattern and gets a little bit of a step on Tiger for a completed pass. And going upfield there for another 5 or 10 yards before he can finally get him out of bounds.
35-yard play. Kubiak to Sewell down to the Green Bay 42-yard line. Bratton about a yard. Dent and Murphy made the stop there. Sterling Sharp sitting on his helmet. A little technique involved there. Were you a helmet sitter? Look at this thing he's got on his head here.
Well, he does that himself. He uses that's a silver ink that he does. He prints various things on his head. He says, I like my hats to be different. He's got a whole bunch of these things that he does with his personal signature on them. That's part of it, to print various names on a variety of hats he has.
Looks like he had the whole Green Bay roster on that one with the numbers included. Melvin Bratton injured slightly on the last play, and Kerry Porter comes in. Sammy Winder, a flag thrown as Winder hauled down after a gain of about 5, and likely a face mask call, and that will possibly give them the first down.
Sammy Winder working off his right tackle. Again, it's a draw play. He's trying to get inside here. Can't find much. Breaks a tackle there. Number 56, Bernell Dent misses. Now, there's a face mask penalty right there. Scott Stephen reaching out, trying to get a hold of him. Grasped that face mask just for a split second, so he's going to get called for it.
So Denver gets another first down. The ball at the 32-yard line of Green Bay. And the Packers are running out of time. 8:27 to go, trailing 20-6. 3 fumbles and an interception, typifying the season of the Green Bay Packers. And putting them in the hole here against the Broncos. Winder cannot get wide. Good defensive response, led by Tiger Green. And then Scott Stephen making the hit, with Robert Brown forcing him wide initially. Brown, a quiet, there's a penalty against Denver on the play. Robert Brown, a quiet guy, 133 straight games, hasn't missed a game as a Packer except for the strike season.
He's one of these guys that you don't hear much about either. You know, you hear so much about Tim Harris and a few other players in that club, but Robert Brown's been around.
Number 69 defense, still first down.
9 years and quietly does his job. Plays the run real well. A decent pass rusher. Has 3 sacks coming into this game. But one of the concerns the Packers have, those have a little age on that defense. Brown's rounding into 30 years old this year, I guess, and Bob Nelson's 31. And thinking about what's going to happen down the road for some of these older players to be back next year is a big question mark.
1st and 20. Kubiak with a deep drop. Runs out of time and eludes Brown. Patterson got a hand on him as he released the ball, and it falls short of the intended receiver, Michael Young.
You talk about a disappointed defensive line. We were talking about Robert Brown. Robert Brown must have chased Kubiak 30 yards and couldn't quite get him. It's one of those things, you know, where you're almost on the guy and you can feel him, but you can't quite touch him. He's got his arm extended, chasing Kubiak across. Here he comes. Right, watch this. Number 93 coming from the backside. Get that arm out. I got him. No, I got him. No. Get the other hand. Can't get him. Got his elbow. No, he slips away. And now he's on the ground. He can't believe it. I had him in my grasp, and he got away.
Typical of the kind of effort we were just talking about, though, from the veteran Brown out of Virginia Tech.
Oh, boy. Those guys worked so hard to get to the quarterbacks. He had him there, and he was gone.
2nd and 20. Kubiak goes to the short man Winder, and he's dropped immediately after a gain of only 3 or 4. Johnny Holland, number 50, with the tackle. Denver Broncos trying to wind up with a victory here to give them just 5 on the season. Hard to believe. A year ago they were in the Super Bowl. The Packers, 10-16 a year ago, that had high hopes for the playoff this year, and they'll be on the outside looking in along with the Broncos when the playoff activity begins next week. 3rd down, about 17 for Kubiak. Fakes and runs, and has the first down to the 20-yard line of Green Bay. Flags fly as punches fly.
I hate to see this because it's been a pretty well-played game for two teams who really don't have a great deal at stake except pride. I'd like to see them go out on a good note. They've played hard throughout the course of this game. You don't want to really see these penalties come about. What you're saying really, Tim, is frustration. And the Packers haven't had the kind of a season they had hoped to have. Now they're in a game where they came in thinking they could beat the Denver Broncos. Looks like they're not going to do it today. And you're a little frustrated. You want to take it out on somebody. You wind up swinging at people when the play's over, and you just don't want that. And Fondy doesn't believe in that, and the organization doesn't believe in it. You just hate to see that happen during the course of a football game, and all it is tempers flaring because guys are just a little frustrated.
Mark Lee was the guy throwing the punches for Green Bay, trying to put a little hurt on receiver Michael Young. It was actually away from the ball. They had their own little duel going on there.
Well, what you don't know about defensive backs and receivers, though, Tim, is sometimes you get locked into a guy, and maybe it starts in the first quarter. And something happens that just...
Personal foul, number 22 and number 36 defense. Personal foul, number 83 offense. All players are ejected.
Oh, boy. And that's a pretty severe penalty. All 3 players are leaving the game. But to finish my thought, Tim, oftentimes defensive backs and wide receivers will get locked into each other, and there's conversation going through the entire game. And then something happens where these things just flare up, and you get this sort of thing. You have tempers flare, and for a few seconds, you forget that you're playing a football game, and you wind up swinging at people because you're taking out your personal frustration, and it results, as it is right here, being ejected from the game.
Leroy Butler will go along with Mark Lee, and Mark Murphy complaining about it. And Michael Young, the receiver.
It's really too bad, too, because Michael Young is an even-tempered guy. So is Mark Lee. They wouldn't normally do this, but tempers flared and got out of control.
So their 1990 season ends a little prematurely. 6:43 short of the actual end of the season. We're at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the lights are on now in the stadium as the Denver Broncos appear headed to a victory here that will give them only 5 on the season against the Green Bay Packers. 20-6. Jerry Seaman still discussing it with his officials. Mark Lee and Butler are pleading their case, evidently. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross watching this season finale at Denver. Gary Kubiak came in to replace John Elway after the Broncos had a commanding lead. Anthony Dilweg has gone all the way at quarterback for Green Bay. Of course, Don Mikowski injured out for the season several weeks ago, and tremendous loss to the Green Bay hopes for a playoff.
This is interesting, Tim. The officials are considering whether or not they should have these fellow players ejected. Now, Jerry Seaman already announced that Leroy Butler, number 36, and number 22, Mark Lee, from the Green Bay Packers, should be ejected. He's taking over now. He'll talk to Coach Infanti to tell him what the ruling is here. And then Michael Young for the Denver Broncos, 83, should also be ejected. Now, what he'll do now is go over to Lindy Infanti and tell them why he's being removed from the game.
In the spirit of the season, they might have decided that with only 6:43 left in the 1990 year that they let these guys finish the game. I mean,
well, I don't know. If he committed a foul, he has to go.
Oh, you're tough, Irv. You old Scrooge.
Well, it's the rule book.
We're on 22 of the defense, 83 of the offense. 36 was not involved in the play.
All right. Well, I didn't see Leroy Butler in that. And
well, Butler's quite a defense attorney. He was in there pleading his case and won.
Yeah. So Lee and Young go. 6:43 to go. And as you can see what's happened here so far. 4 field goals started the game, 2 by each team, leaving it 6-6 at the half. And then Bobby Humphrey scored following a Green Bay turnover. He went 5 yards in for the score. And then Jackson with a 15-yard scoring pass from John Elway. And it's been Kubiak since that time at quarterback for Denver. They have it as play resumes at the 21-yard line of Green Bay. Winder to the 13-yard line. And every Winder carry gets a little louder roar from the crowd.
If he winds up in the end zone, this place will go crazy because he has something he calls his Mississippi mud routine he does in the end. I've never seen him do it. Whatever it is, though, it's really a riot. He said he's going to come up with a special Mississippi mud performance today if he gets in the end zone.
46 yards rushing on the day. That is more in one game than he had all season long in a relief role. Just 40 coming into the game. Second down, about 3 for a first down. That would get them to the 11-yard line of the pack. Melvin Bratton, and he'll be close to the first down. They have it. Broncos think they do have it.
Tim, carrying through with this Mississippi mud routine now. If Sammy Winder scores and he starts to do his Mississippi mud routine, would you sing the Mississippi mud song for us? Last night you sounded pretty good.
It's a treat to beat your feet in the Mississippi mud.
Okay.
You bet. I promise it if it gets in there.
Okay.
I don't remember all the lyrics, but enough to give the fans the flavor and enough for them to say enough.
Yeah. Oh boy.
They're going to measure Bratton's attempt for the first down, and he's got it. Sammy Winder, 30 years of age, 9 years out of southern Mississippi in the National Football League. Number 5 pick back in 1982. Second only to Floyd Little in all-time career rushing yardage and touchdowns for these Denver Broncos. 5-11 and counting down as they'll try to get Winder into the end zone somehow, some way. Play action. Kubiak. Interception by Ron Pitts. His teammates tell him don't come out. And that ends that opportunity for Winder, although had they scored, he probably wouldn't have gotten an opportunity. The pass was intended for the tight end K.
That's right. Clarence K was the man in the end zone, but people are really disappointed that the Broncos gave that ball up because Winder didn't get in.
Pontiac Grand Am. The best-selling compact in America can now be leased for only $199 a month. The 1991 Grand Am LE, driving excitement made easy. With an automatic transmission, air conditioning, stereo cassette, and no down payment. This may be the best time to experience the thrill of a 91 Grand Am for yourself. But don't wait too long. This is a limited offer, and at only $199 a month, they'll be moving fast.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? This hot. 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1 and watch. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Now it's time for a hero.
Trouble breaks out, people still turn to you.
It's time for Lee Horsley, a hero for the 90s. Guns of Paradise, Friday.
My girlfriend Robin Blankman introduced us.
I remember Robin Blankman.
We went to a nightclub called the Shangri-La.
I remember the Shangri-La.
You told me you were starting to get a deep feeling that was much deeper than all those shallow feelings you had felt in the past.
I remember shallow feelings.
Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal. Good Sports premieres January 10th.
Well, Ron Pitts keeps the Green Bay Packers alive here with an interception of Gary Kubiak in the end zone. 4:54 still to play. Dilweg will bring out the Packers from their own 20-yard line. Sammy Winder being recognized on the big screen here at Mile High Stadium. His farewell appearance.
Interesting enough, Tim, Ron Pitts is in there for Mark Lee, who'd been ejected from the game. And Lee goes out a couple of plays, and Pitts ends up with an interception from his position.
Dilweg can't find an open man. Trying to make something happen now. Goes deep. He's got Fontenot. Fontenot eludes one man and gets down inside the 20 of Denver. Well played by both Dilweg and Fontenot as the experienced running back, seeing Dilweg trying to find an open man, got himself open.
Tim, let's go back to that interception that the Broncos gave up. The Clarence K was the man that Kubiak was trying to hit, number 88 in the end zone, but number 28, Ron Pitts, rises up here to pick it off. And, you know, it kind of felt, I don't know if Kubiak was upset with the interception or what, but anyway, so here comes Dilweg coming back, and this time he goes upfield and hits Fontenot, who makes a key play for the Packers.
60 yards down near the 20 of Denver. Dilweg. Charles Wilson to the 9-yard line of the Broncos. Packers, if they can get one here, can make this interesting at the end. 4:36 still to play.
I'll tell you, Timmy, what I see here is a team that's really fighting down to the wire. I mean, they had an interception deep in the end zone, and their offense in 2 plays now have gone nearly the length of the field. They're on the 9-yard line after one long pass and then a completion there. So Green Bay still has that fight in them.
Fontenot, the lone running back. He is usually in these 2-minute type situations as a pass receiving running back. 3 wideouts. Dilweg, he's got Sterling Sharp, touchdown. Well, that'll make Mama Sharp happy. Won't make his brother Shannon too thrilled. But Denver still leads.
What Green Bay really made this drive look easy. This is a quick slant. Dilweg taking a direct snap to the center, finding Sharp on a quick post, and the defensive back was nowhere to be seen. Wyman Henderson, number 24, is the man to line up on that side, but he was nowhere around Sharp. He obviously dropped his coverage.
Jackie for the point after. And so the Green Bay Packers are very much alive with 4:31 still to play. Sterling Sharp's touchdown brings him back to 20-13. Sharp, who looked like he was just resting on the sideline when we last saw him with his baseball hat on of his own design, gets himself geared up, sore ribs and all, and scores a touchdown that closes the gap. Well, these two teams on the outside looking in at the playoff picture. But the AFC picture looks like this right now. Buffalo, Miami, the Raiders, and Kansas City all in. And Buffalo with their title already in hand and a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The race for the final 2 spots. Pittsburgh plays tonight against Houston. Cincinnati won today over Cleveland. Seattle was leading Detroit at last report. And, of course, Houston, as we said, will meet the Steelers tonight.
Tim, you look at Sterling Sharp. It's really amazing. He hasn't worked out in 6 or 7 weeks during their practice because he's had a variety of injuries, primarily the rib problems he had, the cracked ribs. But so the guy goes out to practice every day and just watches what's going on and only plays on Sunday. Can you imagine what kind of a year he would have had he been able to stay in top shape throughout the entire season?
Well, quite a turnaround in this game because the Broncos were knocking on the door down there and what could have been a put-away score, and instead they now lead by only 7. Kevin Clark returns it for the Broncos to the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. 4:21 to go, and the Green Bay Packers with a chance to get the ball back if they can stop them here. We've got bowl game action for you on CBS tomorrow. The John Hancock Bowl will feature Southern California against Michigan State, ranked number 21 and 22 in the nation, live at 2:30 Eastern Time. I hope you'll join us, and also on New Year's Day when number 3 Texas faces number 4 the Hurricanes of Miami at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Cotton Bowl from Dallas. Winder grinds out a couple of yard gain. And Green Bay takes a timeout to get that clock stopped. 4:14 to go. Brown and Holland made the tackle on Winder.
You can see how important turnovers are now. The Green Bay gave the ball up a couple of times. Denver
4
responded,
times.
bang, 4 times. And then Denver came back and scored right away. Then Denver gives the ball up deep in the end zone, actually in their own end zone. And Green Bay goes the length of the field and scores in a couple of minutes. So the importance of turnovers, as Lindy and Fondy have been saying all along, are just critical to our football team. We have to, A, take the ball away from our opponents, and B, stop giving it up so much, particularly in the area of fumbles.
Seattle appears en route to a 9-7 season with a healthy lead over Detroit. And then they'll wait and see what happens tonight in that Pittsburgh-Houston game.
Tim, a poll was taken in Green Bay to vote for the most popular Green Bay Packer coach of all time, including Lombardi and of course, Fondy was in that, and then Fondy won the poll. And he was very embarrassed about it. He says, how could anybody say I'm the most popular coach the Packers ever had when Vince Lombardi and Curly Lambeau, of course, are here. But Vince Lombardi, my gosh, a legend. And he's kind of embarrassed about being voted the most popular Packer coach.
Denver has a 2nd and 8. The Packers defense has to somehow get that ball. And it is dropped out in the middle by Melvin Bratton at the 34-yard line. Scott Stephen had a shot at an interception.
Actually, this ball was really thrown behind Bratton a little bit, and he couldn't quite get the handle. And you'll see it as it's delivered. Kubiak rushed it just a little bit. He's got a little pressure, steps up there and delivers that ball, and it's not quite on line. You'll see that Bratton had to really reach to get to it. And, boy, I tell you, Stevens almost came up with it.
So 3rd down, big play, obviously, here for both teams as Kubiak. We see that again to Bratton. Might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage by Nelson. Bob Nelson got a hand up on it, and that tipped it away from Bratton. Packers come with a rush. Kubiak eludes it. Finally knocked down by Dent, short of the 1st down by about 2 yards. So the Broncos will have to punt. And we still have 3:59 to go.
Almost like going into a different kind of a game here now, that the Broncos had things pretty much going their own way. When Elway was in there, he went out. They continued to have the momentum going, and Kubiak moved them pretty well. But now the Packers, after having scored on a long drive, seem to be gaining the momentum here, Tim. They seem to be.
Well, we talked about the Packers turnovers. Denver, which has hurt themselves all year, also -10 coming into the game in the ratio along with Green Bay. Turnovers have hurt them in this ball game, and obviously the biggest one, the Kubiak interception by Pitts. Moran's punt taken by Query. Query trying to make a big play coming wide. And unable to do so. Good effort, but he still is stopped at the 20-yard line. A 45-yard punt. Well, after the football activity is over here on CBS, stay with us for primetime entertainment starting with 60 Minutes. Why would the mob hire a hitman to do away with Cousin Rose? Not just any Cousin Rose, a Mafia Don's Cousin Rose. Well, you guessed it, money. 60 Minutes tonight, followed by Murder, She Wrote. And then the CBS Sunday movie, Vestige of Honor. Green Bay from the 21-yard line, 3:44 to go. Don Mikowski hoping they can force overtime. They need a converted touchdown to do so. Dilweg, 15 of 23 passing, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. A high snap. Dilweg trying to cover it at the 2-yard line. Does so. Oh, my goodness. James Camp in the center snapped it over the quarterback's head.
What a lousy time for that, because you never want it to happen. Well, what a time for that to happen now. As a matter of fact, he's in pretty good shape. He doesn't have anybody over his head. The Broncos are in a 4-man line. The center was free. There was really no reason for him to have a snap like that. He just simply threw the ball away. Oh, boy.
Well, Infante gave him a Lombardi-like glare there. 2nd and 29. Dilweg sacked in the end zone. Safety. Mecklenburg, number 77, and Dilweg slow to get up.
Tim, let's take a look and see what Dilweg saw. Number 77, Carl Mecklenburg, was lined up in his inside linebacker position on the left side of the screen. Now as Delwick goes back to drop back to look upfield, he can't see 77 Mecklenburg coming from his backside. And Carl comes through scot-free for a 2-point play.
And you saw Mecklenburg get his hand up on the passing arm. There's the experienced pass rusher, making sure Dillway could not get rid of the ball.
That's right. Goes to the right arm first. Watch this, number 77. Hit that right arm. Bang. Can't get rid of it. 2 points.
Well, a huge 2 points, clearly. Now the Packers would have to score twice. 3:24 to go, and they've got to give the ball to Denver. Carl Mecklenburg, outstanding Denver Bronco player for a number of years now, in his 8th at the University of Minnesota.
Tim, both of his legs are bad. He has 2 bad knees, and right after the season's over, he's going into the hospital to have both knees scoped.
There's Carl Mecklenburg, and you see the Raiders have clinched the AFC West title with a victory over San Diego. A bit of a struggle, but what a job Art Shell has done with the Raiders. 17-12 over San Diego today. Raiders, who were already in the playoffs, clinched the title with that victory today.
I'd imagine you're going to hear some kind of a comment from Carl Peterson, who's president of the Kansas City Chiefs, though, about the Chargers playing a backup quarterback rather than their regular starter in that game against the Raiders. But here he is, Carl Mecklenburg, who's going to go into the hospital for surgery on both knees as soon as this season's over. So that'll be sometime next week.
Green Bay took a timeout here before Bracken was to punt from the safety circumstance at the 20-yard line. And Denver is now realigning their return people. They were set up for it. For the Broncos, it looks like they're going to go to 5-11, 5th in the AFC West this year. The 4th straight Super Bowl team to miss the playoffs the following season. Kind of a remarkable stat. But mainly the worst record they've had since 1961. What success they've had under Pat Bowlen and his management and ownership here in Denver. For Green Bay, a disappointing year like the Broncos. Turnovers killed them. The loss of Mikowski going out on November 18th. And the 8th consecutive year they missed the playoffs. They just missed it last year, Herb. People thought they'd be in this year.
But Tim, you know, because Lindy Infante will not accept any excuses. He'll say, we don't have any excuses. But golly, when you lose your starting quarterback to injury for most of the season, that has to hurt. When your offensive line comes into training camp late because of a contract dispute, and you can't quite get that line solidified during the course of the season, that has to hurt. So the Packers, and of course they've had some injury problems as well, too, in the turnovers. But if they can come back in the training camp with everybody ready to go, they'll be okay next year.
Packers have decided to have Jackie place kick the ball. It's their option. Bracken was out there to punt it. And he took himself off the field for some reason, whether it was wind, lights, whatever. But they've opted to, with the return that Denver showed, to try for the onside kick. And there it is. It goes to the Denver Broncos, Steve Atwater, and he just makes sure he's got it for the Broncos at the 39-yard line of Green Bay. So we may get one more chance for Sammy Winder here with 3:20 still to play. The Green Bay just changed their thinking there from giving the ball to Denver to trying the onside kick. They're trying to keep possession. They need to score twice, obviously.
Sure. I would guess, just doing how Dan Reeves felt coming into this game, because it is Sammy Winder's last game as a Denver Bronco player. He's out, announced his retirement. That he's only got 3 minutes and 20 seconds of football left. That Dan would figure some kind of way to get the ball in Winder's hands as much as possible to get him in the end zone.
Winder with 10 carries has his 11th and gets about 6 to the 34-yard line. And Green Bay takes another timeout.
There's Pat Bowlen in the fur coat, the owner of the Denver Broncos. You know, there's a story that came out not too long ago that there were 26 people on the coaching staff and players on the hit list, and Bowlen made the comment, gee, I wonder if I'm on that hit list. He didn't know anything about it. No such thing existed, and they kind of joked about it, but there he is.
That story was on the NFL Today.
Oh, it was? Oh, on CBS. Well, there he is. Very enthusiastic, energetic owner of the Denver Broncos, and they're going to finish the season on a high note.
Well, they're regular season schedule as a result of the 5th victory today and where they finished in their standings. Of course, their divisional games home and away against Kansas City, the Raiders, San Diego, Seattle, and then they'll face not a real overloaded schedule. They got to play the 49ers in either Philadelphia or Washington, but the rest of that fairly attractive.
Well, that's the advantage, really, of having that 5th place schedule. You know, Dallas had that situation this year. I just wonder how good were the Dallas Cowboys. They made a great turnaround from only 1 win last year to the season they had this year, but the schedule in comparison to the top teams really wasn't as difficult. And this is a
good point.
Yeah, 5th place schedule gives you a chance to come back.
2nd down and 6 here with 3:09 on the clock. The Packers have used up their timeouts. Winder, he's got a 1st down. Sammy Winder to the 27-yard line at Green Bay.
Funny thing right here now, Tim, is I think the Green Bay Packers know that Denver wants Sammy Winder to score. And I think everybody in the stadium knows it. And we'll see whether or not the Broncos can get him in there. But you can't cheat with the defense. You have to play it honest to make sure you play everything you see there and react to it. But I would have a tendency to lean towards Sammy.
58 yards rushing for Sammy now on 12 carries. Nelson, Brock, and Brown across the front. Now they bring up the linebackers. They're looking for the Winder run. And they get it. Bratton with a good block up the middle. And Winder grinds out another 3 yards to the 25. Bryce Popp, rookie linebacker from Northern Iowa, made the stop. And we are coming up to the 2-minute warning here at Mile High Stadium. The Denver Broncos lead 22-13.
This isn't what you think. It's a new kind of cold relief. Introducing fast-acting, better-tasting Tylenol Cold Effervescent. Strong non-aspirin cold relief from Tylenol. The only effervescent cold medicine that speeds 2 cold medicines to your sneezing and congestion, while it sends Tylenol pain reliever to your aching body. New orange-flavored Tylenol Cold Effervescent, part of Tylenol's complete cold relief line. Nobody cares for your cold like Tylenol Cold.
If you have an insurance repair on your home and you have Allstate, it's in our hands. We know some very reliable contractors. It's our business too. So if you choose a contractor we recommend, we guarantee the workmanship of their repairs for 1 year. That's why you're in good hands with Allstate. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
There's a moment in time, maybe once in your life, you feel that you're ready to fly.
And that time is now with the power of fuel-injector multi-valve engines, the security of anti-lock braking systems, the agility of 4-wheel independent suspensions. This is advanced Pontiac technology for the 90s. And from now till January 7th, special factory incentives make all this Pontiac technology even more affordable. On the Pontiac Express, we
2 minutes to play here in Denver, winding up the season for the Packers and the Denver Broncos. Tim Ryan with Irv Cross here at Mile High Stadium. And for Green Bay, this is what their schedule will look like in 1991 as a result of their loss today and their placing in the standings this year. In addition to their divisional opponents, they get Atlanta, Buffalo, Dallas, Indianapolis, Miami, the Jets, either the Eagles or the Saints, or Washington or the Rams. So like Denver, and not a bad schedule, a chance for them to do something if they put it together. 2nd down and 7. Winder gets to the 20-yard line, leaving 2 for a 1st down. Packers are out of timeouts. Well, we'd like to acknowledge these folks who bring you NFL football all season long. Coordinating producers of the NFL on CBS, Charles H. Milton III and Ed Gorin. And Chuck Milton, a resident of Colorado. Today's game produced by Daniel Forer, directed by Michael Arnold, associate producer Diane Patterson, broadcast associate Adam Berger. 1:23 and counting down. Kubiak with a long count to use up some more clock time. Winder has a hole. Winder pulled down at the 7-yard line. broke loose.
Oh, gee whiz. What a way. What? Here's Sammy coming off tackle again, gets a good block from his lead blocker, Melvin Bratton, skips off that block and then breaks the tackle there. Number 23, Tiger Green, is hanging on until help comes. And he hangs on long enough till he finally gets help from Bernal Dent. But Sammy is knocking at the door.
79 yards for Sammy Winder. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. Senior producer David Winter, executive producer of CBS Sports Ted Shaker. Now they're just going to do a little kneel down here as this game will come to an end, and a chance for me to acknowledge two gentlemen who have worked so hard for us all season long, our statistician Dick Bossing and our spotter Terry Kane. And thank you, you gentlemen, for your fine work all year long. The Denver Broncos win their 5th. The Green Bay Packers lose their 10th. And that is it for the NFL season for these teams. Playoff action begins next week on CBS Sports. We hope you'll be with us on Sunday. The playoff matchups will be announced tomorrow as the NFL sorts out the times and the games in the various zones when the season is completed tomorrow night. Sammy Winder says farewell to the Denver Broncos. And we'll return to Mile High Stadium in a moment.
New Year's marked by time